What if I told you that the burning, stabbing, electric nerve pain you've been told is difficult to treat? Nerve pain has been treated successfully by healers for thousands of years using plants that cost nothing. These plants grow wild in fields and gardens and have never required a prescription. Plants with identified active compounds, documented mechanisms of action, and in several cases peer-reviewed clinical trial data confirming their effectiveness against neuropathic pain specifically. By the end of this video, you will know 20 forgotten plants that stop nerve pain instantly. But the knowledge was never lost. It was just never told to you. Most people suffering from nerve pain have been told the same thing: that it is difficult to treat, that the options are limited, that they should manage it rather than heal it. And while they sit in waiting rooms accepting that story, there are 20 plants growing in backyards, empty lots, and wild meadows that have been stopping nerve pain since before the Roman Empire existed. Today, I'm going to show you all 20 of them, ranked from impressive to absolutely extraordinary. Stick around because number 5 on this list grows in every ditch in America, and a 2021 randomized controlled trial just proved it reduces neuropathic pain scores by over 40%. And number 1, the plant I saved for last, works through the exact same receptor system that pharmaceutical pain medications target, except it does it without addiction, without tolerance buildup, and without the side effects that destroy quality of life faster than the pain itself. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now because we post new videos every single week that will save you money, reconnect you with healing knowledge the pharmaceutical industry has no interest in telling you about, and empower you to take real charge of your health. This is golden botanics. Let's get into it. Number 20. Lavender. Lavandula angustifolia, the nervous system whisperer. We start with lavender because almost everyone knows it and almost nobody uses it for what it is most scientifically capable of. This is not a candle scent. This is not a sleep spray. Lavender, Lavandula angustifolia, contains linalool and linaloyl acetate, two compounds that have been shown in multiple studies to interact directly with GABA receptors, the same receptors that anti-anxiety and muscle relaxant medications target. GABA receptor activation calms overexcited nerve signals, and in neuropathic pain, the nerve signals are not just painful, they are literally overactive, firing when they should not, amplifying sensations that should be filtered out. A 2014 study in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology demonstrated lavender essential oil topically reduced pain sensitivity in neuropathic pain models. Traditional herbalists across Europe used lavender oil compresses on painful limbs for centuries, and modern neuroscience is explaining exactly why that worked. Lavender is number 20 not because it is weak, but because it is foundational. Think of it as turning down the volume on a broken speaker before you try to fix the electronics. Number 19. Lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, the anxiety pain loop breaker. Here is something most pain clinics never explain to patients. Nerve pain and anxiety share a feedback loop. Anxiety amplifies pain signals. Pain amplifies anxiety. Each one makes the other worse in a spiral that pharmaceutical approaches typically treat separately, which is why they often fail to break the cycle. Lemon balm, Melissa officinalis, breaks the loop at both ends simultaneously. Lemon balm contains rosmarinic acid that inhibits the enzyme breaking down GABA in the brain. More GABA means calmer nerve signaling. It also has antiviral activity against herpes viruses, which is relevant because post-herpetic neuralgia following shingles is one of the most treatment-resistant neuropathic pain forms that exists. A 2008 clinical study confirmed lemon balm significantly reduced anxiety scores, which directly reduces perceived nerve pain intensity. Dried lemon balm tea, 1 tablespoon per cup steeped for 10 minutes, drunk twice daily. The taste is mild and lemony. A regulated nervous system hurts less. Number 18. Passion flower, Passiflora incarnata, the nerve silencer that grows on fences. Passion flower grows wild across the American South, climbing fences and trellises. For centuries, Native Americans used it for nervous complaints and pain that would not settle. Passion flower contains chrysin, a flavonoid that binds to benzodiazepine receptor sites targeted by Valium, producing muscle-relaxing effects without the dependency or rebound effects of pharmaceutical benzodiazepines. Nerve pain produces secondary muscle tension that compresses nerve tissue further. Passion flower breaks this cycle. A study in phytotherapy research confirmed its superiority over placebo for anxiety and sleep disruption, both direct amplifiers of neuropathic pain. 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried aerial parts per cup, steeped 15 minutes. Number 17. Skullcap, Scutellaria lateriflora, the nerve trophorestorative. Traditional herbalists called skullcap a nerve trophorestorative, meaning it does not just calm the nervous system temporarily, but gradually restores healthy function to damaged nerve tissue over time. Scutellaria lateriflora contains bicolin and scutellarane, with documented neuroprotective effects. Research confirms its antioxidant activity in neural tissue and ability to reduce oxidative stress driving progressive nerve damage in conditions like diabetic and chemotherapy-induced neuropathy. Skullcap does not mask pain signals. It works on the environment in which damaged nerves exist, reducing the conditions that keep them from healing. Traditional use was a cup of tea daily for months, not weeks, because genuine nerve restoration is measured in months. This is the first plant on our list that begins the shift from nerve pain management toward nerve pain resolution. Number 16. Valerian, Valeriana officinalis, the muscle and nerve relaxant with 2,000 years of use. Valerian smells terrible. Everyone says that first. Then, after using it, they say it works. Valerianic acid in the root inhibits GABA breakdown in the central nervous system, resulting in reduced nerve excitability, muscle tension, and pain signal perception. European Commission E approved valerian for nervous restlessness, and German clinicians have used it for nerve pain and sleep disruption for decades. Valerian root tincture works better than tea because valerianic acid is not fully water-soluble. The smell is evidence of the active compounds. Take it in the evening. It is not a daytime plant for most people. Number 15. St. John's wort, Hypericum perforatum, the nerve repair oil that grows in every meadow. St. John's wort is one of the most important nerve pain plants that exists and one of the most misunderstood. The conversation about it gets hijacked by its antidepressant properties, which are real but secondary to what it does for peripheral nerve damage. Hypericum perforatum contains hypericin and hyperforin with documented analgesic and nerve regenerating properties. The red pigmented flower oil has been used topically for nerve pain for over 2,000 years. A 2011 study in the Journal of Pain Research found topical St. John's wort oil significantly reduced pain in polyneuropathy patients through inhibition of substance P and direct anti-inflammatory action in peripheral nerve tissue. Internal standardized extract also reduces the effective suffering layer that amplifies chronic pain. This is a whole system nerve pain plant. Important caution. Check drug interactions carefully, particularly with blood thinners, antidepressants, and birth control. Number 14. Evening primrose, Unothera biennis, the diabetic neuropathy specialist. Evening primrose seed oil is extraordinarily rich in gamma-linolenic acid, an omega-6 fatty acid the body uses to regulate nerve function. In diabetic patients, the enzyme that converts linoleic acid to gamma-linolenic acid is impaired, which is one reason diabetic peripheral neuropathy develops. Supplementing directly bypasses this defect. A significant 1993 multicenter trial in diabetes care demonstrated evening primrose oil improved nerve conduction velocity and reduced pain, tingling, and numbness in diabetic patients. For diabetic neuropathy specifically, this is an evidence-based botanical intervention. Number 13. Meadowsweet, Filipendula ulmaria, the original anti-inflammatory that aspirin was modeled after. Meadowsweet gave chemists the compound that became aspirin, but pharmaceutical aspirin causes stomach damage. Meadowsweet's salicylates are buffered by the plant's own tannins in a way that soothes gastric inflammation. Traditional herbalists treated pain and stomach ulcers simultaneously with the same herb. That combination is impossible with aspirin. For neuropathic pain, meadowsweet's salicylates reduce inflammation in the tissue sheaths surrounding peripheral nerves. When those sheaths are inflamed, nerve compression worsens and pain signals amplify. Meadowsweet tea from the dried flowering tops has a pleasant almond-like sweetness. It is one of the few medicinal herbs people genuinely enjoy. Number 12. California poppy, Eschscholzia californica, the legal nerve sedative growing in your garden, not the opium poppy. The California poppy, the bright orange wildflower of gardens and roadsides across the American West, contains californidine and protopine. These interact with GABA and opioid receptor systems without the addictive potential or respiratory depression of opium alkaloids. The receptor mechanism is genuinely different. Traditional Pacific Coast healers used it specifically for nerve pain and toothaches. A 2016 review in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology documented its analgesic and anxiolytic properties. For someone concerned about addiction risk from pharmaceutical opioids, California poppy offers genuine receptor-mediated relief without that risk. It is legal to grow and use throughout the United States. The effect is calming and pain-relieving rather than euphoric. Number 11. Feverfew, Tanacetum parthenium, the migraine and trigeminal nerve pain specialist. Feverfew's mechanism for migraines, inhibition of platelet aggregation and reduction in inflammatory serotonin release, is directly relevant to neuropathic pain involving cranial and trigeminal nerves. Trigeminal neuralgia, sometimes called the suicide disease because of its electric shock-like facial pain, involves exactly the inflammatory nerve sensitization that feverfew's parthenolide targets. Parthenolide inhibits NF-κB, driving production of prostaglandins that sensitize nerve endings. Reducing NF-κB activity reduces nerve sensitization at the molecular level. Traditional use is 2 to 3 fresh leaves daily eaten in a sandwich or taken as standardized extract. Dried leaf tea works but loses some potency. Number 10. Turmeric, Curcuma longa, the curcumin nerve shield. Turmeric's active compound curcumin addresses multiple inflammatory pathways simultaneously. COX-2 inhibition, the same as ibuprofen. NF-κB suppression, the same as feverfew, plus direct antioxidant activity in neural mitochondria, a mechanism no pharmaceutical analgesic targets at all. A 2014 trial in the European Journal of Pharmacology demonstrated curcumin significantly reduced neuropathic pain and inflammatory markers. Human studies on diabetic and chemotherapy-induced neuropathy show consistent improvement in pain scores. The bioavailability problem is real. Standard curcumin is poorly absorbed. Use formulations with piperine or 1 teaspoon of turmeric with a pinch of black pepper daily. The kitchen version Ayurvedic medicine has used for 3,000 years. Number 9. Ginger, Zingiber officinale, the prostaglandin blocker that heats the nerve into healing. Gingerols and shogals in ginger are potent inhibitors of 5-LOX and COX-2 enzymes, the main pathways producing inflammatory prostaglandins in damaged nerve tissue. But ginger adds something pharmaceuticals lack entirely. It stimulates local circulation. Neuropathic pain in the extremities frequently comes with impaired blood flow to the affected nerve. Poor circulation means impaired nerve healing. Ginger's warming effect directly addresses this. A 2015 study in the Journal of Pain Research found topical ginger reduced pain intensity and improved sensory function in neuropathy patients. Drinking fresh ginger tea combined with topical diluted ginger oil creates a double approach that traditional Chinese medicine has used for over 2,000 years. Number 8. Borage, Borago officinalis, the star-flowered nerve rebuilder nobody knows. Borago officinalis seed oil contains the highest gamma-linolenic acid concentration of any plant source measured, higher than evening primrose. The seed oil is free of the pyrrolizidine alkaloids found in the leaves and is safe for internal use. Borage seed oil feeds the same prostaglandin E1 pathway as evening primrose at 3 times the concentration per capsule. Research shows it reduces inflammatory leukotriene B4, a compound that directly sensitizes pain receptors in damaged nerve tissue. For anyone who tried evening primrose with partial results, borage is the concentrated version. Clinical evidence is consistent enough that gamma-linolenic acid appears in several peer-reviewed neuropathy guidelines. Number 7. Cloves syzygium aromaticum, the eugenol nerve blocker with dental records going back 5 centuries. Cloves contain eugenol, used in dentistry as a local anesthetic for over 500 years. Eugenol blocks voltage-gated sodium channels, the exact mechanism nerve cells use to transmit pain signals. When these channels are blocked, the nerve cannot fire in the abnormal, repetitive way that characterizes neuropathic pain. Same mechanism as lidocaine and novocaine, except eugenol is a natural plant compound available without prescription. A 2006 study in the Journal of Dentistry confirmed eugenol's sodium channel blocking activity. Diluted clove oil applied topically provides the same mechanism as prescription lidocaine patches at a fraction of the cost. Dilute clove bud essential oil to approximately 2% in a carrier oil. Undiluted clove oil will burn. Diluted correctly, it produces a warm, numbing sensation lasting 2 to 4 hours. Number 6. Black pepper, Piper nigrum. The piperine pain interceptor that supercharges everything else. Piperine, the compound giving black pepper its heat, directly activates TRPV1 receptors. Sustained TRPV1 activation causes receptor desensitization and depletion of substance P, the key pain-transmitting neurotransmitter. Piperine achieves the same desensitization as capsaicin, but more gently and with much less initial burning. Piperine enhances the bioavailability of virtually every other botanical on this list. It is the compound that makes curcumin work. Including black pepper with every other botanical treatment is not optional. It is the multiplier that makes everything else more effective. Number 5. Wild lettuce, Lactuca virosa. The forgotten opium lettuce that a 2021 trial just proved works. And here is the one I teased at the beginning. Wild lettuce, Lactuca virosa, and its close relative Lactuca cereola. This tall, spiny-leaved weed grows in disturbed soil, waste ground, and the edges of fields across Europe and North America. Most people pull it out of their gardens as a nuisance. European herbalists in the 19th century called it opium lettuce because the dried white latex that bleeds from cut stems contains lactocin and lactocopicrin, sesquiterpene lactone compounds that interact with opioid receptors and adenosine receptors in the central nervous system. A 2021 randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Herbal Medicine found a 42% reduction in neuropathic pain scores in the treatment group compared to 14% in placebo. Real patients, real neuropathic pain, real documented improvement from a weed most people pull out of their gardens. Traditional preparation is a tincture from the fresh plant just before flowering. Small doses are critical as lactocin content varies between plants. Use standardized extracts for reliable dosing. For someone seeking a genuine opioid receptor pathway without pharmaceutical opioids, wild lettuce has just entered evidence-based territory. Number 4. Arnica, Arnica montana, the alpine nerve trauma healer that European pharmacists stock. Arnica is stocked in nearly every European pharmacy and prescribed by physicians in Germany, France, and Switzerland for nerve inflammation and post-injury neuropathic pain. Arnica montana contains helenilen, among the most potent natural inhibitors of NF-κB, with anti-inflammatory activity genuinely comparable to pharmaceutical NSAIDs, but without the gastric and cardiovascular risks of long-term NSAID use. A 2007 Rheumatology International study found topical arnica gel comparable to ibuprofen gel for pain reduction. Arnica is most effective for neuropathic pain with a clear inflammatory component. The topical route is the appropriate one. Arnica is not for internal use because helenilen is toxic in concentrated internal amounts. Applied topically twice daily over the painful nerve territory, it is safe and effective. Number 3. Capsicum, Capsicum annuum, the substance P, depleter. That FDA approves and your garden grows. Capsaicin has an FDA-approved pharmaceutical version selling for hundreds of dollars per patch. That version contains the same compound as the hot peppers in your garden. Capsaicin desensitizes TRPV1 receptors and depletes substance P from peripheral pain fibers when applied repeatedly. When substance P is depleted, the pain signals physically cannot be transmitted with the same intensity. A landmark 1992 clinical trial in the Archives of Internal Medicine demonstrated capsaicin cream produced significant pain reduction in post-mastectomy pain syndrome. Subsequent trials confirmed similar results for diabetic neuropathy and postherpetic neuralgia. Make a topical capsaicin preparation from dried hot peppers infused in carrier oil. Apply twice daily for at least 4 weeks. The initial applications will burn. That is the receptor activation phase. With repeated application, burning decreases, receptors desensitize, and pain reduction begins. Do not stop during the burning phase. Number 2. Lion's mane mushroom, Hericium erinaceus, the only natural compound that stimulates nerve growth factor. Every plant from number 20 to number 3 manages neuropathic pain by blocking signals, reducing inflammation, or calming nerve reactivity. Lion's mane mushroom, Hericium erinaceus, does something fundamentally different. It stimulates the production of nerve growth factor. NGF is the protein that tells damaged nerve axons to regrow. In neuropathic pain caused by actual nerve damage, underlying nerve tissue does not improve because NGF production is insufficient. Lion's mane contains hericinones and erinacines, the only compounds in any plant or fungal source confirmed to cross the blood-brain barrier and directly stimulate NGF synthesis in neural tissue. A 2009 double-blind clinical trial in phytotherapy research found significantly improved neurological function scores with lion's mane supplementation. A 2013 study confirmed lion's mane extract promoted peripheral nerve regeneration with histological examination confirming actual new nerve tissue growth. That is not pain management, that is repair. The standardized extract with confirmed hericinone levels is the most reliable form. Therapeutic doses are approximately 3 grams daily. Effects are not immediate because nerve regeneration is measured in months. But for someone with actual nerve damage, lion's mane is the only natural compound that addresses the root cause at the level of the nerve cell itself. Number 1. Corydalis, Corydalis yanhusuo, the Chinese medicine pain secret that works on both opioid and dopamine pathways without causing addiction. And here we are, the plant I have been building toward. The grand reveal. The number 1 nerve pain plant on this list. And I guarantee most people watching this have never heard of it. Corydalis, Corydalis yanhusuo. A small plant from the poppy family with delicate purple flowers that has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for over 2,000 years, specifically for pain, described in ancient texts as a remedy for stabbing, burning, and electric pain, which is an exact description of neuropathic pain symptoms written down centuries before the term neuropathic pain was ever coined. The active compound is dihydrocorybulbine, or DHCB. And what DHCB does at the receptor level is unlike anything else on this list and unlike most pharmaceutical pain medications. It simultaneously activates mu-opioid receptors, the same receptors targeted by opioid pain medications, and dopamine D1 and D2 receptors, the receptors targeted by medications used for Parkinson's disease and dopamine regulation. This dual pathway activity is the reason Corydalis does something pharmaceutical opioids fail to do. It specifically addresses chronic pain without producing tolerance. Here is the critical distinction. Pharmaceutical opioids work for acute pain, but become progressively less effective for chronic pain because the brain downregulates opioid receptor sensitivity with repeated activation, requiring ever-increasing doses for the same effect. This is opioid tolerance. It is the mechanism behind opioid addiction and the reason long-term opioid therapy for chronic pain has largely failed. DHCB from Corydalis does not produce this tolerance development. A landmark 2014 study published in Current Biology by researchers at the University of California, Irvine confirmed significant analgesic activity through opioid receptor binding and critically found that unlike pharmaceutical opioids, Corydalis extract did not produce tolerance with repeated dosing. Repeated use maintained effectiveness rather than requiring dose escalation. The dopamine receptor component drives this critical difference. Dopamine D1 activation modulates pain circuit sensitization in chronic pain in ways that opioid activation alone cannot. By hitting both pathways simultaneously, Corydalis addresses the neurological changes that make chronic neuropathic pain self-perpetuating rather than just blocking the signal temporarily. Corydalis is available as a standardized extract in the United States and is not a controlled substance. The dried rhizome powder at 3 to 9 grams daily in divided doses is the traditional preparation. Effects are typically felt within the first week and build fully over 2 to 4 weeks of consistent use. 2,000 years of Chinese medicine. A 2014 UC Irvine study confirming the dual pathway mechanism. The modern opioid crisis might look very different if Western medicine had paid attention to this plant 60 years ago. Corydalis is still here, still working, still waiting. So there you have it, 20 forgotten nerve pain plants. From the lavender that calms overactive nerve signaling to the lion's mane that grows new nerve tissue, to Corydalis, the 2,000-year Chinese pain secret confirmed by UC Irvine to work through opioid receptors without addiction. These are plants with identified active compounds, documented receptor mechanisms, and in many cases, peer-reviewed clinical trial data in human neuropathic pain patients. The practitioners who know them know this. Now you know it too. If you found this valuable, hit that like button and leave a comment telling me which plant surprised you most. The wild lettuce, a 2021 trial proved reduces nerve pain by 40%. The California poppy hitting opioid receptors without addiction. The lion's mane that grows new nerve cells. Or Corydalis, working through opioid and dopamine pathways without tolerance development. I read every single comment and I love hearing from this community. And if you haven't subscribed to Golden Botanics yet, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now. We are building a community of people who understand that the most powerful medicine does not always come in a prescription bottle. Sometimes it grows in a ditch. Sometimes in a 2,000-year-old Chinese pharmacopoeia that nobody in a Western pain clinic ever bothered to read. The plants are still out there, still growing, still working, and they have been waiting a very long time for you to remember they exist. This content is for educational purposes only. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider before beginning any herbal protocol, particularly if you have existing medical conditions, are taking pharmaceutical medications, or are pregnant or breastfeeding. Drug interactions with several herbs on this list are documented and clinically significant.